very much. Thank you, Mariana. Thank you so much, Exopolitics, UFO New South Wales, for having me today. You guys are great. I think this is, what, my 5th talk or 6th talk with you guys, so I'm getting quite used to all the faces, and there's a lot of new people here today coming to see Leah, obviously, and her incredible story, which is excellent, and we're all really looking forward to seeing it. So, look, without too much talking, because as you all know, I've got 50 minutes, and my talks normally go for 4 or 5 hours, so I'm just going to cram everything in as I can. If I'm going too fast, please tell me to stop, or just give me some sort of needle to slow me down, okay? Because yeah, I get into it and I get involved with it, and so I'm very passionate about the subject and about what I've seen and experienced. So, okay, now I've prepared some talks today, a couple of videos today for you guys in relation to just some compilations of some of my captures, just to show you basically some of the variety that I get. It's not the full videos or anything like that. If you're interested in looking at the full videos, you can go to the website, aapi.info, and we can show, and if you're interested in the original footage, all you have to do is ask, and we can send you the original footage, any investigator whatsoever around the world, okay? So now, that aside, let's get into some UFO action before, you know, and this is what we're here for with this. Everyone see this okay? Excellent. Most of these videos are multiple witness sightings, also caught on multiple formats, different cameras, so it's not a mistake or some sort of anomaly with one camera. But these orange craft I've seen since I was young. The red craft I've seen since I was young. The red. Thank you. The white spheres are what we tend to see the most in the sky, and I'm not sure what they are, but I mean, going back to the days of the war, World War II, I mean, the pilots used to witness the same types of objects. They called them Foo Fighters, and what they would do would follow the wingtips and play games with the pilots, basically, and just to show how much more advanced they are than what we were. So. These things we are filming a lot of, and they seem to know when they're being filmed as well, because they'll come into the shot at a very fast rate of speed. You're talking about 1,000 k's an hour. Then will come to a pinpoint stop when they know they're being filmed, and then they'll start doing all maneuvers in the sky and then take off at another. It's incredible. It's like there's an intelligence behind it. No matter what, I don't care what anyone says. I've seen it myself and experienced it. Now, I don't think they're all alien as in extraterrestrial, that they're all coming here from different planets. I think that there's something involved here that's inherent and natural to this Earth, some type of phenomena we don't understand yet, that science just hasn't had the grasp of yet, or been able to explain. But there's a lot of things going on. As you know, we don't know anything. Most things about this planet we don't know. We're still finding new species every day, and we really don't know what's even on our own planet or at the bottom of our own oceans, let alone what's out there. And I mean, I've seen enough in my life to know that I'm either very, very, very crazy, or I'm hallucinating and very crazy, or the camera's crazy. And this is the whole point of trying to film it on as many formats as possible to show people. If you show them one video, they'll say, "Oh, it could be a problem with the camera." Okay, well, how come there's a problem with 7 other cameras the same problem? You know, and then you hear all the excuses. And see, nobody really wants to. They come across with excuses that are more ridiculous than something visiting us. You know, than something amazing happening. I mean, swamp gas, that's the old one. Drones are the new one. Okay, now, you know, we've had it out with the Australian Skeptics Association on TV. They offered me $100,000 if I can prove what I'm filming are extraterrestrial spacecraft. How can anyone film that, to tell you the truth? How can anybody say, unless an alien walked up to the president of the Skeptics and said, hi, I'm from such and such, I'm a Zeta Reticulan and I'm real. The skeptic would still go, no, you're a little dwarf in a suit, I don't believe you. Now, it's true, this is true, they will not believe, and they live their life by rubbishing all this sort of stuff. But the one thing that we did get on TV on Today Tonight when they tried to take my footage down, all they could say was, oh, that was fast. I mean, that's their way of debunking my footage. So, I mean, they've tried to keep away from me now. Their excuses and reasonings are more sad than the actual something strange that's going on. It's crazy. I mean, and I think they realise they know that. The skeptic, Richard Saunders actually turned around recently and said that of all the things that they investigate, the skeptics, alien life may be the one possibility of being a reality. And for a skeptic president to say that, that is huge. You know, so for years they've been towing the line, none of this exists, all that sort of stuff. There's still a hard line about mediums and psychics and dowsers and all this sort of stuff. But on TV, I was offered $100,000 if I can prove they're aliens. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go anyway, and I'll see what I can do here. And so I tried to enter the challenge off TV, and of course, off TV, they said, you're not eligible to enter the challenge. I said, oh, okay, so in front of the whole world, you challenge me, and then when I enter the challenge, so it's all for show. You know, so now, after all 20 years of this $100,000 challenge through Dick Smith, no one's ever won it. The closest people who've gotten to stage 2 are the dowsers, people using dowsing rods, and no one's gotten any further. But now, because of what they've done, we can't prove they're extraterrestrial craft, so they've actually had to change the wording of their whole challenge after 20 years because of, you know, what they're trying to do, and the fact we pointed them out and made them look like idiots. Now, I don't mind taking on skeptics. I don't mind taking on, you know, press, media, whatever the case may be, the public talking about the subject. I'm very passionate about it. I know it's a reality, and I won't have anyone telling me that I'm hallucinating or anything like this, right? But what I can't stand in this field is infighting and bickering and jealousy that goes on behind the scenes. And my experience is better than yours, and I've seen more than you, and I've caught more than you. And see, I've been caught out recently with this, with Australian skies. Now, Today Tonight did a story on me, and in this story, they were told that I had the world's biggest collection of UFO photos and videos. And this was a couple of years ago. And my friend of mine, thank you, Mike Williams, told them this, the idiot. And so they asked me to say that. They wanted me to say, can you tell the world you've got the biggest collection? I said, no, I won't, because it's not true. And so, but eventually I said, look, I will say that I have been told that I have the biggest collection. So it's a big difference, right? But then I went on to say that out of all, I doubt that's true because there's been people that have been doing this much longer than what I have. But of course they cut that bit out. Right, so it was me going, I've been told I've got the biggest collection. So now people are twisting that and saying I am claiming I have the biggest collection in the world to sell their videos and to sell their documentaries and all this sort of stuff, even though they know it's not true. So you've got to be really careful in this field, what you say, how you word things, your association. You can be brought down by association in this field. If you're seen hanging around somebody who is seen as less than kosher, so to speak, by other people in the field, that's it, that's your career over. You know, I've been attacked just last week by a guy in America, a foul-mouthed guy with tattoos around his neck, calling me a this and a that, and rubbishing my family, and just to not rubbishing my footage, but rubbishing my family, I basically started, he said, oh, this guy's cute. If I was in jail with him, he'd be my bitch. And this is how the interview started off. And I mean, this is where ufology is going to nowadays. These people, these YouTubers trying to make money by bringing down real researchers. Now, they've brought down a couple of researchers, guys who film balloons over in America. I'm not going to, talk about any names, but they've brought these guys down. But what they've done with me is just an absolute joke, And so we've left the channel up there to show this people how much of an idiot this guy is. I mean, nobody talks about raping someone as soon as you're trying to debunk their footage. And by the way, I'd like to rape him. And I mean, what's that got to do with anything? You know what I mean? So we come across all this sort of stuff. So you've got to be careful who you associate with. I did an interview recently with James Gilliland and Peter Slattery and Sol Rentaria, and they're friends of mine, and Pete and Sol have been friends for 4 years or so, and after this interview, I've been contacted by people all around the world saying, what are you doing an interview with these guys? They're hoaxes, they're frauds, James Gilliland's a fraud, this and that. And so I've been hammered for a month since they left our house. They stayed with us for a week. And one interview, and that's all it took. And then now people are saying, oh, you know, you must be hoaxing it because you're involved with these guys. So just try to be careful who you associate with in this field, okay? Just that's the most important, one of the most important lessons I could say. So let's get on to some UFO action while we're still on the subject. All right. Cool. We've had these things, these balls of light follow our car, follow our van. They've been witnessed by multiple people. Pretty much not every talk we go to, but most talks we go to, especially if it's up and down the Pacific Highway, you know, we'll be hanging out the window with a camera and Mel will be driving, swerving all over the place, and there's people beeping their horn, swearing, and we're just trying to film a UFO. I mean, it's crazy. It happens quite regularly. We've had a little break lately, which has been great, because of so much work I've had to catch up on. But I mean, you've seen the top left corner here. This helicopter was circling for about 7 minutes around our house, and actually it was in a unit, we're in a 3rd story unit, and this guy was circling for so long, just after we saw a light disappear. And at the time, we were filming the helicopter, never saw the light that was still there, and this is this light that flew up past it. It's quite incredible. So these guys were there for a reason, and I've heard of other stories of guys in similar helicopters in brown jumpsuits who come and sort of, you know, sometimes they're there within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour of a UFO sighting. Sometimes they don't come after a UFO sighting. It's hard to say. It's sort of all over the place. And a lot of these are taken from video as well. You know, sometimes these things just appear. I mean, when I was living in Dunedoo, my father was a skeptic, and you know, straighty 180 guy, doesn't drink, do anything, smoke or anything, and you know, bank manager kind of guy, and just retired. And I had to drag him outside. He knew I was seeing him since I was a kid, but they were never interested. We could never drag him outside, me and my brothers, to see him. But now in Dunedoo, you know, I started dragging him out, and eventually he started dragging me out because I was getting sick of, you know, I'm like, oh, no more, please, you know. Some nights we were seeing, you know, up to 13, 14 a night of these lights that would come in, multiple lights, 5 or 6, and then they'd stop, do these patterns in the sky, and then they'd fly off this way, or they'd follow aeroplanes, or they'd appear out of nowhere behind an aeroplane and then move to the front of the plane while it's standing still, and then disappear. And it was absolutely incredible. And you could see the satellites, you could see the planes, because we're under a flight path. I mean, we have the apps that show us what you know, a plane is, and you know, what a satellite is, and where they are, and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, we had the Sun Herald guys there. Mr. Bayless, what's his name? The reporter. Tim Barlas. Tim Barlas was there, and with his reporter, and I mean, these two lights, as you were there, came over, and you know, it was incredible. And so many people have come there, have seen that kind of thing, and to me, it's too much of a coincidence, you know, for those things. So. At the moment, I am working on a story with 60 Minutes, with Ross Coulthard from 60 Minutes. And it'll be the first story that has been done in Australia, as far as I know. Oh, sorry. It's the music, is it? I'm working on a story in 60 Minutes with Ross Coulthard, the reporter at the moment. It's been going for 6 months now. We've been trying to get the editor to go ahead. So finally now we're going over to Norway. That's the plan. And I don't know how many of you guys have heard of the Hesteland Valley in Norway, where lights have been seen going back, you know, like 50 years plus, and by people. And they actually have an observatory 24 hours a day. The government actually investigates this area, and lights are seen all over the joint. You know, everywhere you look, there's lights. And you know, I'm capturing very similar kind of footage of these balls of light that are moving through the air, and then Sorry. And then very close by these balls of light, they're larger, and then smaller balls of light will appear out of nowhere close to these balls of light and then suck into them and disappear, and then the bigger ball will keep moving. Now, I've got several videos of this happening, even in very high up in the sky, other balls flying into these larger balls, and then the balls continuing, and just some of the most amazing, you know, stuff you really can't explain. And they're capturing a lot of that over in Hesterland. So we're going to go over there and do a watertight UFO story. You know, something that hasn't been done before on a current affair program like this. You know, the one they did on me on Today Tonight, you know, that was a shonky story, unfortunately. You know, a UFO appeared in front of them, and instead, I'm pointing at it, instead of going to the UFO, they point to the UFO for 2 seconds and then go straight back to me. And there's this UFO just over here in front of a whole crew. So, I mean, I don't know where their minds were at, what's going on, but you see it in the video, you see it on Today Tonight, the UFO that was there and comes in and it spun around, it stopped and it disappeared and it reappeared again, and it was absolutely incredible. But they were just interested in filming me yapping about nothing, you know. But this happens time and time again. When we were filming the documentary up in Queensland, Australian skies, we had 2 UFOs come for that shoot. I mean, it was incredible. One big white one was just hanging next to a cloud watching us all, and while we're filming, and we caught that. And then there was another light which Don, myself, and the young camera guy, we all got to this area, and it was a really remote area, big paddock and a lot of trees around, all that sort of stuff, and there was no, you know, cars or anything nearby. And all of a sudden, this big orange ball started moving across the paddock right in front of us, and it was, okay, I couldn't say exactly how far away it was, but it looked to me like at least it was about 100 metres away, so it wasn't that far. And the size of it was absolutely gigantic. And it moved very quietly, just moved. We filmed it on infrared, normal camera, and also on, what was it? On their camera as well. So we filmed it on 3 different cameras. And the very next morning, sorry. I'm thinking, what, I'm hungry? Am I going to eat? Or, yeah, so the very next morning, the funny thing is, and this is part of the high strangeness part of the UFO phenomena, the very next morning, Don forgot about the sighting, completely and utterly forgot about it. And the young guy and myself, we're filming and excited and everything, and it wasn't until the next day where the young guy reminded him and said, hey, you know, what about that thing we filmed last night? He said, oh, yeah, it was kind of very hazy kind of memory. Now, this has happened before, you know, but since he has tried to play it down as though, you know, oh, it could have been anything if it was the daytime or something like that. That's not the point, you know. I mean, I don't know of any UFOs that are giant orange balls, you know, that are 50 metres away that make no sound. We checked, and the closest plane was about 28 miles away in a completely different area. So, I mean, you know, stuff like that's really strange. A lot of people deal with this phenomena differently than what they see it. You know, you can have a whole group of people standing next to you, and you'll have 3 or 4 see this object or an object, and then 1 or 2 won't see the object, which is really, really bizarre. And we've had other times where we've had people come who haven't wanted to be at night watches. They've been dragged along by, you know, their wives or whatever. And one gentleman especially, who was a doctor, who came along up to Taree, and he just ended up sitting in his car, and he had a head on the steering wheel, and he just wanted to get away, you know. And he was like, oh, who are these, you know, sky watching crazy people? I just want to get away from this. Anyway, so as soon as, you know, it was just a really bad sort of atmosphere. So everyone sort of around midnight, let's get up to go. And I had a feeling, so I shone a laser up in the sky in front of 2 or 3 other ufologists that remained, and we got back these 3 bright flashes straight back from this laser that we pointed in the sky. And they're all going, oh, wow, did you see that? You see that? And by this stage, it was like 1:45 or something, and we're all getting tired. So I was like, yeah, I don't think they're going to come down until we all leave. Anyway, next morning about 8 o'clock, I got a call from a friend saying, oh, you got to read the paper. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, someone last night, several people reported a UFO coming down over that mountain that you guys were at 1:30 in the morning, and we left at, you know, at 1 o'clock. So half an hour after we left, and an hour after we saw a flashback, this huge, big, long, green, cigar-shaped object with a haze around it came down. It was seen by about 11 people, made the front page of the paper up there. So, I mean, there is some type of, I mean, communication, whether it be through light, through mind. You know, I've thought things and they've done it before. You know, I've actually thought, all right, guys, show me you're not a satellite. Show me that you're something special. You know, and they'll start zigzagging, or they'll stop, or they'll get really big, or something like that. And I'm not just talking about like a satellite powering up or anything, because a lot of people think satellite power-ups are UFOs, iridium flares and stuff like that. That you know. Some may be, you know, but I believe most of them are iridium flares, these so-called power-ups. Oh, an iridium flare, it's just the type of, it's basically reflecting off the sun. It's the type of satellite that it is, and it's an iridium satellite, and the sails are much brighter. They're reflecting off the sun at a certain angle, so you're going to get a very, very bright glow going over, just for a short space of time, you know, as it's going in and out of the sun's angle. You know, so there's a lot of that kind of stuff as well, but, you know, a lot of people think that planes are pretending to be UFOs now, that helicopters are, and all this sort of stuff. Look, I've seen a lot and filmed a lot myself, and I must say that I have caught something that looked like a plane, and Mariana and I saw something up in Dunedoo that we thought was a plane that made no sound, and it was like a triangular kind of thing. And so, I mean, who really knows if there is? But I'm trying to concentrate on something we can, at least, is tangible, and is, you know, and you can sort of have proof to it, instead of going on a conspiracy and saying, oh, just because it's got flashing lights, oh, it must be a, you know, because a lot of people say it's a UFO, but when they zoom in and see flashing lights on the sides, like an aeroplane lights, they say, oh, it's a morph UFO. So not, I could be wrong and it could be a plane, but no, it's a UFO pretending to be a plane. Now, I don't really follow that, you know, 100% myself. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because that's something what we would do. You know, we'd try and blend in if we were up there and living in their atmosphere. No doubt, we'd try and, you know, probably pretend to be a balloon or something, or whatever the case may be. But we, okay, I'm still not talking into this properly. But so, does anyone have any questions? Anyway, yes, can I help you?
When you said about the iridium flares,
yep.
Is there a particular time that, because when we were with James Gillian and did the Skywatch,
Sure.
he said that there was a time frame, if you saw something, it might be an iridium flare as the sun's setting, but once the sun has set, did you see anything beyond that, the power-ups?
Well, it's not just when the sun sets. You've got a 2-hour plus gap after the sun sets where you've still got an angle up, and where the iridium flares still can be seen. So it's not just when the sun just virtually goes down, because when the sun goes down, you've still got an angle of curvature of the Earth. So whatever satellites are going around are still going to get picked up, and you're still going to get a flash even 2-3 hours after the sun goes down. Same thing as in the morning as well, before the sun comes up, because you've got the angle of the sun coming up the other side, so you will get those type of flashes. But they normally tell you, what's an iridium flash and, you know, what's not on. Do you have an app on your phone, a satellite app? It'll tell you basically. You can download one called Heavens Above, and that'll help you, or Satellite Tracker or something like this, and that'll show you what's up in our skies, and it makes it a lot easier for what we do anyway. So we can rule out a lot of misidentifications and stuff like that. So yeah. So any other questions? Yep.
What do the astronomers make of all these lights? What do they think tonight?
Well, the astronomers try and they toe the old party line, and the party line is whatever's known in our sky now is what it is. So i.e. meteor, you know, comet, this, that, falling space debris, they'll always go back to, you know, this kind of thing. Falling satellite, you know, there's a whole bunch of things that they use, you know, weather balloons, the whole kit, but not many astronomers out there. There have been a few. Dr. J. Allen Hynek was one, you know, who was a skeptic in the beginning, and he turned around as well. Clyde Tombaugh as well, the discoverer of Pluto, he saw a UFO as well. I mean, so astronomers do see it, but it's kept highly compartmentalised in between their own little clique, because they don't want to be the ones who say to their contemporaries and their peers that, oh yeah, UFOs exist. It's like it's a career death basically. You saying that, oh, UFOs exist around all your scientific community, when they think that they don't, you know. So yeah, it's not something that you'd want to. A lot of people have had the courage to do so, but come forward. So, and I've spoken to some astronomers who've seen them as well. But see, astronomers look through small little parts of the sky at a time. You know, they're not looking at the whole sky and looking at everything like this. They're looking at little telescopes, going, okay, there's nothing there today. There's nothing there today. So therefore, there's nothing out there. You know what I mean? There's no real anything. So. But the reality is we are so behind, we're so arrogant as a species of humans, We're basically, sorry, I don't mean to say it, I'm talking about myself here too, we're monkeys with brains, you know. And I mean, in a good way, right? So, because, I mean, you know, we probably can't climb trees as well as monkeys, but still, I mean, we've got our own little things, but we really don't know what's out there. We don't, but it does make us feel more comfortable in the knowledge or in the fact that we think we know what's going on. We think that we're the only people here, we're the only, you know, we're the God's greatest creation, all that sort of stuff. The reality is we're not. There's something else out there that's bigger. And look, the governments, and whoever the case may be, I'm not saying governments, but I'm talking about people who are running this secret. You know, it is a dirty secret. It's the worst kept secret in history. But I think there is something like a slow disclosure happening at the moment from people I've been speaking to. And it's not just through media. So it's through media, it's through movies, all sorts of stuff. You know, try and get away from that Independence Day when they're trying to attack us and put us in fear movies. But you know, movies like E.T. and stuff like that that teach you that, you know, don't be scared of them when they're coming down. You know, we don't want to see these Independence Day movies where, oh, they're going to come and kill us, so we've got to all fight for our survival. You know, that's something that, you know, I don't know why that happens, but people love those kind of movies, you know, where it's us against them and all this kind of stuff. Look, I know for a fact that they wouldn't want to come down here and land on the White House lawn. The first thing that we will do is shoot them. Sorry, but anyone who looks different on this earth, who acts different, who dresses different, walks different, who likes different things, everything that you do, you're judged upon, no matter what. So imagine your race, everything, right? Your creed, your colour, no matter what. Imagine how we would treat them, these little grey things, how we treat ourselves. We can't even treat ourselves with respect and kindness and love, you know? How the hell are we meant to go, okay, we're ambassadors for these people coming down? You know, sorry, but the first thing we do, especially if the government got their hands on them, would be to lock them up, start prodding and poking and then cutting to pieces and, oh, what have you got inside you? You know, this is what we would do, and because it's built into us basically. There's a lot of curiosity in us, you know, and I think that's part of it's in our DNA. I think to learn, to want to excel, to get better at what we do as what we are, and to learn this truth because it's an ultimate truth. Megan. Hi, Megan.
What response do you have for skeptical journalists? And I've seen some of what people interviewed on the media, and when they say things like, "Well, how come I never see one and you've seen so many?" You know?
Well, look, that's right. Yeah, it's a very common question, and that's the answer right there. Attitude. Okay, you know, whoa, what makes you so special that you see all this stuff? That's an egotistical attitude on your part. I'm not saying I'm special because I've seen UFOs. I've gone exactly the opposite. I'm saying I'm just like everybody else. Okay, I'm not a cult figure. I'm not going down that path, whatever the case may be. But you know, I do believe that you know, people just need to see it themselves. That's all you can really say in the end. You can't make someone believe something just from a story in your head or a photo or a video, you know. So I mean, people can ask all these sort of questions. Thank you. I'm not used to talking with these things, eh? And I got this voice. I like to get it out there, but and yeah, I mean, so look, I know that you know, I think that's part of the reason why. I think it's like is it jealousy? Is it, you know what I mean? Because I come across that a little bit where people go, oh, how come, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I can't give a reason. I can't give an answer. I really can't give an answer because it's not something that I know, that I can remember. If I honestly knew and if I'd spoken to them, look, I've spoken to them in dreams, okay? And it was a dream, all right? And that's it. It wasn't real. I'm not going to tell, oh, yeah, they came up and said that nuclear weapons are bad and all this. It was a dream. I've had dreams with them. I've had the most realistic dreams, but to me it was a dream. Knowing what I've done for the last 28 years and immersed myself in this topic, you know, there's no doubt that my subconscious would let me dream of something like this every now and then. So of course I'm going to dream about being on a spaceship or something like that, you know what I mean? But I'm not claiming that as evidence that, oh yeah, I've been abducted and stuff like that. Look, I've woken up with marks on my legs after these dreams, really bizarre marks. I've woken up with scoop marks on my back that Mel's noticed. I've got this thing in me here that they've done the ultrasound and it was moving, and so I don't know what's going on. It's just absolutely bizarre. But who knows the truth? It's such a convoluted subject. And look, after 28 years looking into it, I'm still not that much closer to a real answer. I'm really not. When you think you know the answer to this, you don't. Okay? Something will throw a curveball and make out and show that, you know, look, there's something else going on that's deeper than this. There's a paranormal aspect. There is look, I've probably got about 2 minutes left, and I've probably got about 10 years worth of talking. But yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, go for it.
Can I just say,
Sure.
I think you've chosen.
Chosen?
That's right. Because my dad saw them when he was a kid, and then I encountered them when I was growing up.
Sure.
And I think anyone that sees them, it's actually been chosen or been told to look up in the sky and see something that you don't know what it is.
Sure.
There are other people blind to it.
Well, this is what I've noticed. You know, most people.
Blind to it,
Yeah.
you won't see nothing.
That's right. Yeah, it's about having that open mind, you know, and I think that's a big part of it. I think the human mind has a massive part to do with what we're seeing and what we're. There's doctors at the moment that are doing studies, and I've looked at this in the past as well. That our mind, because we don't know what it's capable of yet, right? There's doctors who are looking into the connections between paranormal activity, i.e. poltergeist activity, and the human mind. And not just that, projections of UFOs and stuff from the human mind. Now, look, I'm trying to look at it in a scientific way as possible, but you have to look at all the big pictures, you know, and then sort of work out for you which is the best for you and what you believe in yourself. You know, you can't take what someone else says as judgment and as, you know, all honesty. You really need, this is a subject you need to research yourself and find your own answer to, because no one out there, nobody has the full picture, not one person. And if you anybody out there who says they are, I'm telling you now, you're a liar, okay? So it's not true. The fact is, no one's meant to know the full story here. This is something that's above us. This is something it's special, it's mysterious, it's beautiful, and it's something that I'm absolutely amazed to be a part of. People around me who've seen it, you know, and I'm just glad that media and the public now are waking the hell up finally. I had to say hell in this. You know, and it's a great thing to do, you know, because 5 years ago, this subject, even 2-3 years ago, this subject was getting ridiculed all over the shop in the media. And I've been lucky because I've had reporters who've either seen UFOs with me and have agreed to do good stories, or reporters that are interested in the phenomena so deeply that they want to do a good story on it, you know, which is incredible. And this is the first time this has happened in history. This is a big thing for Australian and the world of ufology. It really is. And credibility, that's what we need. Some credibility. You know, we need to show the people there is a phenomena occurring, okay? And once the public can understand that there is something occurring, people will be more likely to accept other people's stories, like people who see beings and people who've been abducted and all this sort of stuff. Their stories will be more palatable to the public if the public takes small steps at a time. And that small step is just to show them that there is a phenomena occurring, okay? It may just be lights in the sky, but we need to show that that's existing first before all this other stuff, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, did you guys hear anything I said? Because, yeah, all right. Thank you, excellent. So, yeah, but that's my thought on it. And I, like Leah coming along today, I give her absolute kudos and respect for coming out, and because I know myself, this is not an easy thing to do. And to come out, she's subjecting herself to ridicule, to a whole lot of things, you know. And why would you do that if you did not feel the passion and the truth inside yourself? Now, you know, I give you absolute kudos for that, and I'd like everyone to put their hands together for her. Thank you. You know, it's incredible. And you know, we need to change, and we are changing as a species. I can see that. I can feel that in myself. Look. You know, 3 years ago, I was just a normal, you know, I wasn't just a normal dude. I've never been a normal dude. But, you know, now I can walk down the street, and if I see an ant in trouble, I'll get him out of trouble. I can't even step on an ant anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. I swear to God. And my friends are going, what are you doing? Why are you saving an ant or something? I'm like, it's just because he's God's creature or something. I don't know. It's just this whole thing has changed me as a person. It has completely, I've always been empathic, highly empathic. I can read people's thoughts through their emotions. Thoughts get converted to emotions, which I can pick up, and I've been like that since I was a kid. I can't stand being in shopping centres a lot of the time because I have to get out of there as soon as possible. All the energy's around and all that sort of stuff. And, when I was young, I used to pick the lottery winners for my stepfather as well. Not the lotto, but the horses, the trifectas and stuff like that. And so I was his little lucky charm, That stopped, obviously, otherwise I'd be a millionaire now winning the lotto. But yeah, I'd like to go back as a kid and redo all that again. But so there is that connection and an artistic connection with all of us people who are seeing these things and are experiencing these things. There's something about an artistic part of our minds, that we're using that's maybe open, that we can see more. Look, I'm doing a lot of research at the moment. It's going into my book. I don't want to let too much out of the bag now. So, I'd like to appreciate. Is this over or? So,
You've got 5 minutes.
Oh, I've got 5 minutes. All right. Let's show you guys a quick. Sorry. All right. Let's show you guys a quick little video then. Oh, Mel, can you take a couple of photos, please? Just while the video's up. Yeah, I drank 2 Red Bulls before I came here, so I'm really sorry. I keep promising every time I'm not going to drink a Red Bull, but I was so tired, and then I was keeping up. It's just killing me. All right, never again. Okay, here's an interesting one. This is one where a bunch of us saw these objects, 13 of them flying in from a very great height, all changing angles in a period of 3 minutes, we called them, and flying into the valley just behind us. Now, you can see these things all coming from the same spot, same area, and then one appearing horizontally over the mountain. As here to the left, it's one of the first videos I've ever seen of a UFO appearing out of nowhere, which is really, really, special to me anyway. We didn't notice this footage the following day either. All of our electromagnetic field equipment was going haywire while this was going off. It's quite incredible. Now this guy here dropped from a cloud and then spun around, opened up like a seed, which we'll see in a second here, a bright orange seed in the middle, then closed up and flew straight back up to the sky right in front of us. It's incredible. This is a recent little bit of footage. Taken on 2 cameras, one 4K and one HD. Now this object that you see here, this white object, goes behind the helicopter. So it's not an object in front of the camera lens, like an insect or a bird or anything like this. This was at a great height, traveling at great speeds, and it seems to stop just here before then moving just above the rotor blades. Now, if anyone knows about the vortex pressure from a helicopter that needs to, anything above that would be sucked in. If it was a bird, you'd see feathers everywhere. No feathers. See how close he gets to the rotor blades, and then he moves behind. These are these white spheres that they used to witness back in the 40s and 50s and even earlier. Mexico, they have a proliferation of these guys. They seem to be everywhere. And it also seems to leave a reflection in the window as well of the helicopter, which is really good. we had a black helicopter circle this thing and then circle our yard above us for about 15-20 minutes. Big camera on the underside of it. Sorry for the Steven Spielberg type music. I just wanted to keep you guys entertained so you didn't fall asleep during this. So, most of these are multiple witness sightings. And this is a good one, metallic sphere. You see it come past here and then come to a complete stop right here. All right. Just about over. These are the objects that separate the one I was telling you about before, and they seem to have little lights that come out of them, as you can see quite clearly there. So there you go. There is, thank you for watching my footage, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for coming along. And thanks for UFO Exopolitics. Thanks for all the committee. Thanks you guys. You guys have been great as always and awesome. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you so much.
way. What the hell is that?